Hello my darlings and welcome. Today I'm going to make a Poppet. This doll represents yourself and can be used in all sorts of magical workings. Let's do some magical crafting. I'm going to be working from my Book of Shadows page on how to make a Poppet. If you're interested in watching me create that artwork, I'll leave a link to the video below. If you'd like to download a PDF of the Grimoire page or the Poppet pattern I'm using, please visit Magical Crafting on Patreon at the link below the video. My patrons can download recipes, Book of Shadows pages, artwork, and more, all provided as PDFs, and I'll continue to add new downloadable content as I do more projects on the channel. To start, I cut out a roughly human-shaped pattern for my doll and a small heart pattern. I cut one small heart from a piece of pink felt and two body pieces to serve as the back and front of the doll. These pieces of felt or cloth can be any color you like. You might even consider using fabric with a small print on it if it speaks to you. I chose a very generic ivory, but in hindsight, I kind of wish I'd chosen a light purple color. Once the felt was cut, I set it aside and created a sigil for the inside of my doll. I'm using a worksheet I created with the sigil creation method I outlined in my How to Make a Magic Sigil video. You can create a sigil using this method or any method that you're used to using. The focus of my doll is going to be self-love and good health, so I'm choosing perfect love, perfect health as the statement for my sigil. I cross out all of the vowels in the statement and also cross out any of the duplicated consonants. This leaves me with PRFCTLVH. Using the chart at the top left, I translate those letters into numbers. Since there are two 4s side by side, I treat them as a single number. Then I mark those numbers in the wheel chart at the bottom left and begin to trace lines in number order between the dots. I like to use rounded lines, but that's just a personal choice. You can use straight lines or curling lines and create any shape that you like. I trace over the lines a few times until I have my sigil the way I want it, and then transfer the final sigil into the box on the bottom right. This is the symbol that I draw onto the Poppet fabric in a green pin to represent health. This will end up on the inside of the doll when I sew the two pieces together. I specifically drew my sigil in the region of the solar plexus chakra as it relates to the digestive system and the large intestine. The next step is to set aside the back pieces and sew on the heart in the front of the body. I want to do this before I sew the two body pieces together to make it easier to hold the single top piece. I used pink embroidery thread in a similar color to my felt. You can use regular sewing thread instead, or even glue the heart on if you prefer. I also embroidered a face onto the head. I used my original drawing as a guide for positioning and style. I used embroidery floss for my face, but you can also use a pen or a marker. Once the face and heart are complete, it's time to sew the body pieces together. I used matching embroidery floss with a blanket stitch all the way around, making sure that the stitches were close enough together that anything I stuffed the doll with would not be able to slip out between the stitches. But don't sew it all the way closed. Make sure you leave a large enough area open to be able to put the stuffing in. Which brings me to stuffing. Here are the items I have chosen from my Poppet to promote healing and self-love. First is poly pellets. Next is clear quartz and rose quartz. Then calendula flowers, lavender, and rosemary. And finally, to directly connect this doll to myself, I'm adding nail clippings. I'm layering the ingredients into the doll, pushing them down into the legs and arms. Poly pellets will give the doll a little bit of weight. Make sure any herbs or flowers you are using are completely dried. Fresh vegetation might decompose inside your doll. The nail clippings took some time for me to collect. If you're in a hurry, you can also use a snip of hair instead. Once the doll is stuffed, pin it closed and stitch the hole closed. The final part of construction is to embroider the hair around the face. I'm not an expert at embroidery, but I attempted a chain stitch to fill in the hair. Once your doll is done, you can cleanse it with smoke, chant or pray over it, anoint it with oil, or use colored pins to work your magical intentions.